Respected guest of honor, Dr. D.P. Suresh, IRS sir, a very warm welcome and a very good morning to you. So it only takes anybody a few minutes to observe how humble he is and how capable. So I'm really honored to have you in our presence today, sir. And please continue to keep us, our revenue, and keep us safe, and also from drugs and everything else. And a warm welcome to all the chartered accountants today, and my respects to all my colleagues who are present here, and a hearty welcome to all the students who have gathered here to learn something and to also teach something. Good morning to all of you. So, our Pro Vice Chancellor has given quite an insight into VIT and also the commerce studies that happen in VIT. So I think I'll focus a little bit on GST today. Actually, before that, I do want to say something else. So for all the commerce students, I just want to tell you that you have to think more and beyond commerce when you get into your job roles tomorrow, because automation is rapid. So accountants need to be more than bookkeepers, and you have to really think about end-to-end solutions. So when you manage the books, when you keep accounts, you really need to align it with the business strategy. You need to be able to analyze the financial data and draw conclusions and bring forth advice to your senior managers on how to better manage finances and how to avoid losses and mitigate risks. So it's no one's job is going to be in silos anymore. You have to be, you have to have a broader perspective and a deeper ability. And for that you've got automation and AI to help you with that. But because AI is going to be at your fingertips, the bar is raised, your performance is expected to be higher. People who realize this sooner and cultivate skills that are required for the future are going to be the ones who will be absorbed by the industry faster and are going to be the ones who can have a bright career. Now, so since the topic is GST, I'm not a commerce person, I'm basically a science, tech and management person. But that said, I can give you a little bit of view because I do file GST returns every quarter. And for my own MSMEs, although we have able people taking care of the institution's financial affairs. Now, I think the debate that you students can engage in is this 18% GST serving the country positively or negatively? I mean, that's a big debate to be had. One perspective, I can bring to the table is, I think it is burdening the consumers a lot. If you can bring down the GST, then you can argue that the consumer demand will increase, and because of that, more GST may be collected too, because the sales have increased, right? Because of increased sales, you have more jobs. So it may be an economic driver. If you keep on increasing GST, I don't know, you remember GST back in the days? I think we had 5%, sir? Yeah? From 5%, we've seen 18%, and some goods are even levied 28%, am I right? So, I can't even fathom having 28% GST. So, it's just, my prayer is that, or my thought is that GST should be more affordable, bringing down the cost of goods and services to the people, and that will actually improve economy. And MSMEs in India contribute to more than 30% of GDP, and they provide more than 11 crore jobs. But the MSMEs face a lot of difficulties in cash flows when it comes to GST. You got to pay this GST, and input tax credit has a lot of issues in it. And I think, there are people that evade GST also. Therein comes the increase in GSTs, but there's no point in penalizing the people with greater GST because there's fraud. I think we got to control fraud and we got to reduce GST and improve the consumer demand, thus increasing the revenue to the government. I think we can also be globally competitive if GST is lower. I think Singapore only pays 9% GST, and that too after, I think, the recent increase. And UAE has much lower GST percentage. So they have a competitive edge because their cost of goods and services is lower because of GST. So these are some of the things that you should consider in debating whether GST is going in the right direction, increasing and increasing day by day, or should we really think of stabilizing it at a lower rate? So those are some of the things that I would like you to consider. And compliance is a big pain point, but the good thing is I think it has improved a lot over the past 7 years or so. In the initial days when the GST website opened up, it was very cumbersome. I really remembered the pain in that. Now it is far easier. There is some automation of pre-populating the invoices, etc. But that said, the whole process is still cumbersome. I just had a word with our CFO and FO before coming here, and they agree that the compliance is still a nightmare. I think in India, there's no law that actually says the paperwork has to be limited to X minutes or X amount of your working time. Some developed nations like US actually have limitations. They gauge. To file the income tax return, a common person should not be spending more than this time on an average. So there are actually metrics like that in the US. So India stands to benefit from such metrics. Please, I know it gives probably accountants a role to play and all that stuff, but you shouldn't really think about it that way, right? Accountants have bigger roles to play. So we are wasting too much time in filing various sort of returns. If they are simplified, then we can actually spend that time in really gleaning our financial health of the businesses, so to speak. I also want to say that, there's no GST on tuition fees collected by schools and colleges, but we pay huge GST on our equipment and construction. Too huge, in fact, that it increases the tuition fees and the burden on the students. So imagine, offering basically reducing the fees by 18% or so, because our huge costs are in infrastructure. Or imagine using that money to develop more research centers and labs that are the backbone of the country, especially entering into the AI era. So if we can actually exempt education institutions and research institutions from paying GST on things like equipment and infrastructure and construction, that goes a big way in furthering the development of this country. So anyways, I'm very happy to have all the students come here and interact with notable chartered accountants and learn from them. So have very useful session and enjoy it all. And lastly, I'd like to thank Department of SSL for organizing this summit, which stands to benefit a lot of commerce students and the businesses to come. Thank you.